Okay, here we are again. Podcasting from the car. It's day 31 of the Non-Essential Podcast, or TNEP, as it is affectionately known by me, and pretty much only me. Just done some shopping, and I thought, because I've only just woken up as well, and I thought, well, I don't want what happened yesterday to happen today, where, if you were listening to yesterday's 10-minute show, I talked about how I had a terrible sleep the night before, and thought, you know what, I better actually do this podcast on the ASAP, because I'll probably be asleep again pretty soon. That's sort of what happened yesterday. I ended up waking up again at 4 a.m. in a state of panic, saying to myself, fuck, I got to do this episode. So I don't want to be cranking out tonight's episode at 4 a.m. Because I need to go to sleep a bit earlier tonight. I got to be up a little bit earlier, so I need to go to sleep a little bit earlier. So I'll do one of these now while I'm out and about, because when I get home, even though, like I said, I've only just really woken up, when I get home, it might be time to start winding down again and getting ready for bed. So if I could actually just pump this episode out in the car and kill two birds with one stone, then that's perfect, really, isn't it? So because I've only just woken up, nothing's happened to me today. Case numbers, I'm just a bit distracted by this person behind me. I don't know why they're so close. You can see I got two cars in front of me that are kind of dictating the pace at which we're going right now. So what the fuck is your problem behind me? You know what I like to do in this kind of situation when you're being tailgated, right? Because when you're driving and you're really close to someone that you can see their eyes in the rearview mirror, like, quite clearly, because your headlights are just lighting them up. I like to just, when someone's tailgating me like this, I like to just stare right in the rearview mirror and not blink for a really long period of time, and not take my eyes off the road, to let them know, hey, you're a bit close and I'm not afraid to die. I should fucking tailgate them now. It was a P-plater too, which makes it even worse. If I hadn't known it was a P-plater before they passed me, I would have done the old brake check. Big fan of the brake check as well when people are too close to you. That's always good on the freeway. A bit of a brake check. I did that, when did I do that? Probably one of the more recent times that we were allowed out to play and weren't in lockdown. Some guy, I was in that far right hand lane, the express lane, but I was still doing like 110, I think, and this person, this wanker, just insistent on sitting right up my ass. So I gave him a wicked fucking brake check, to the point where he shit himself and started fucking wobbling all around the lane. And I was just like, well, maybe that'll fucking teach you not to be so fucking close. Alright? Yeah, I'm in the express lane, but I'm also doing 110 in the fucking express lane. Anyway. You know what really shits me about the supermarket as well, right? The self-serve, when you're waiting for the receipt to be printed out, because it's always like, I try to, I like to just fucking do my shit and get the fuck out of there. But you got to wait for this fucking receipt to be printed. Well, you don't really have to. You don't have to take the receipt, but I always kind of do, because I like to keep an eye on my profits and losses, people. And so I wait for the receipt to be printed, and I try pulling it out before it's finished being printed and ready to be pulled out from the machine, and I almost, yank it out of there. And then you're sort of like, you're in a bit of a tug of war with the machine itself, because they're not ready to let go of the receipt, and but you're ready to fuck off with it. And it's always 3.5 meters long, the fucking receipt. I didn't even buy that much stuff. Why is this? Why is the receipt so long? What is this person doing now? So that's another thing. What else is there? Literally doing just doing laps of my neighbourhood, straying no further than a 5 kilometre radius. I can assure you of that. At least I think I can. It's Wednesday night. I stand by my theory that I first spoke about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't really remember. The days have all kind of blended into one. But my theory of, in a situation like this, one of the best ways to kind of handle it is to just be up all night, go to bed at 9 a.m, wake up at 7 p.m, and before you know it, it's like the next day. I stand by this theory because fuck, it just feels like last Friday was no more than 48 hours ago. But it's Wednesday night now. It's closer to, the next Friday. So give it a shot if you're in that kind of position where you can. Just pull all-nighters for the next, week and a bit, and you might find that this whole thing goes quicker. How long are we going for? 7 minutes. That's nearly 8. That's pretty much what I thought I was at. So I'm going to keep doing a bit more. Yesterday's episode was only 10 minutes, so I could just kind of stop it now. Are they going to stop at this roundabout? They fucking better. They're not really. Fuck, what is wrong with everyone? Does anybody know how to drive out here? And the funny thing about driving, if there's any kids out there listening, is you realise, I didn't get my licence until late, right? And one of the reasons was because I was probably scared. I probably thought, you know what, this requires, this whole act of driving requires way too much coordination of hands and feet, even in an automatic, and I'm probably not going to be able to get my head around it, my fucking dumb, stupid brain around it. So that's one of the reasons I put off not sort of getting my license for ages. And then, you know what, when I started driving, and I will say this because I'm now a fully licensed driver, so and this was many years ago, but I did drive around without a license for quite a long period of time. I had a car before a license, so, which I'm not saying that, kids don't do that, basically, obviously don't do that, because let me tell you, I got close on a few occasions to getting caught, and, I don't know what would have happened to me, but I know it wouldn't have been pleasant. But one of the things you notice when you start sort of driving around is how bad everyone else on the road is at driving, and that your fears were probably mostly unfounded, because you get behind the wheel and you're with other people on the road and you're like, hang on, I'm a better driver than this fucking person here, who's probably been driving for 20 years. So you realise, at least I did, how, like I said, how bad everybody else on the road was at this whole driving thing. So, and, you know, that's a little bit the case right now on this drive, because there's been a couple of occasions where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? People not, you know, giving way to their right at a roundabout, and, you know, people tailgating and all the rest of it. So, look, I bloody love driving now, though. It is right up there as, honestly, one of my favourite pastimes. If not, like, my favourite. When I think of whatever pastimes and hobbies and stuff I have, I probably don't do them for the amount of time that I will just drive aimlessly for in like a week. I love just getting in the car and just fucking off. To the point where I'm now, and I've contemplated this a few times over the years, but since this whole COVID situation began, you know, late March, early April, I started to really think about it a lot more seriously, about starting my own little courier biz. And I went, a friend of mine at the start, like, of this whole thing, you know, so back in, you know, the end of March, told me about Airtasker. And I think I had heard of it before, but basically hadn't really, so it was all kind of new. And I started doing, when some of the restrictions and stages were eased, I started doing some Airtasker gigs, just pickups and deliveries. And I had a great fucking time doing it, to be honest. I earned a bit of money, and I was, you know, rather than driving around aimlessly and just wasting petrol and not actually kind of getting paid to drive around aimlessly, it gave me kind of a reason to drive around aimlessly, and I was earning a little bit of money doing it. So I thought, you know what, because I'd put a couple of ads on Gumtree and stuff as well over the years, like 7-8 years ago, offering my services, and I got like 1 or 2 jobs out of it, but Airtasker is kind of the way to go. So I'm thinking of starting, my own removalist and courier biz when this whole thing is over, because at least if this whole thing does happen again, it's one of those industries, like the transport industry, and I know this because my dad is in the transport industry, it's one of those industries that remains kind of going during this whole thing. So, you know, when lockdown's over, reactivate an old ABN and, you know, look at a couple of sort of courier insurances to just save my ass a little bit, and then get those cool like courier stickers on the side of my car, and I'm ready to fucking go. So what have I done so far as a courier and a removalist on Airtasker, I hear you ask? Well, the first thing I moved was at the start of June, and so I drive like a compact SUV, right? Is technically what it is sort of called, although when I get fined it comes up as a wagon on the sort of the fine itself. The first thing I moved was a whammy pedal for a guitar. Now, I'd been messing around on Airtasker looking at different things that I could do, and I saw this ad appear on a Sunday night, and I said to myself, well, I definitely know that I can fit a whammy pedal in the car, being a guitar player myself. I definitely know that I can do that job. So I picked up a guitar whammy pedal from Belgrave. I'm just a little unsure about this car behind me. So there's going to be a bit of a pause while I wait to see if this is a cop or not, because I think I am technically slightly further than 5k's from my house now. get turned. Alright, fuck. Whenever a Commodore type of fucking vehicle pulls up behind you, you don't know, do you? What was I saying? So yeah, I picked up a whammy pedal from Belgrave. Had to walk up this, because Belgrave, like, it's a very, you know, sort of, the streets are very tight, the roads are very tight up in the mountains. And I wasn't sure about the street that I had to pick this thing up from. So I parked down the end of it and didn't know it was a gigantic hill until I had to walk up it, and it was fuck, I tell you what, it's I can't remember the name of the street, but I might just start doing, hill sprints up there. Although sprinting, I'll probably die. It's hard enough to just walk up it. But I picked that up from Belgrave and delivered it to Williamstown. So it was a bit of a drive, and but I was like, fuck it, bit of fun. So I did that, and that was my first gig. I haven't really made much money doing these yet because I haven't really put the effort into making money doing it. So I only did it for like a month before we went back into lockdown. And I was just sort of dipping my toes in the water, getting my feet wet, seeing what this car can and can't carry. I've moved a lot, I've moved house in this car, and I know that it can kind of fit a fair bit when the seats are down. So, what else did I do off Airtasker? I did a double bed frame, and I knew for sure I could do that. That was from, where was that from? That was Hampton to, again, like over the Westgate somewhere. And then I did this job for this young couple, lovely young couple, Jasmine and Chris, who live in Glenroy, and they got me to pick up a couple of drawers or bedside tables or something for them from somewhere like out near Cooey Rup, and I had to drive down this dirt road for a bit and deliver it to them in Glenroy. And I'm just kind of working for cheap at the moment. Like I said, not really focusing on making a whole lot of money, although when lockdown ends, that will be my focus. Should have kept going straight because I have another fucking guy behind me who's too fucking close. And anyway, so I delivered these tables to them, and they got me to do like 2 or 3 jobs after that, not on Airtasker, and so I actually, it took me like a couple of jobs to actually get like regular customers, I guess you could say. And just before this sort of second wave, they asked me to do another job for them. I said no because they're in Glenroy, and that was one of those like northern suburbs or northwestern suburbs that they put a lockdown on before the rest of us, if you remember, So yeah, but anyway, thinking of just doing my own little removalist courier biz. I'm even looking at vehicles. I'm looking at, dual cab utes, because I just love a dual cab ute. Looking at vans as well, pardon me. And thinking about, doing this whole thing fucking properly. I got everything kind of at my disposal already from my work in nightclubs, like people that can do graphic design if I wanted to put logos on vehicles, and I've got, bookkeepers and accountants, and I know where to kind of get cool flyers printed if I want to do letterbox drops. And, I know a bunch of people now that, including my boss, who I've worked for the last, nearly 10 years, who have run their own successful small businesses. So I feel like I'd be stupid to not give this a go. Bit of fun out on the road, helping people out, and there's a fair bit of money you can make on things like Airtasker. So yeah, kind of excited to give that a go once everything is back to normal. Anyway, I better stop talking now because I haven't been focusing on the time, and it's 20 to 8, so the curfew is in effect in 20 minutes time from now. And I don't want to keep waffling on and not have an eye on the time and, you know, look at it again when it's 8:15. So I'll wrap this shit up for today. This has been day 31 of the Non-Essential Podcast. 11 more days to go, isn't it? Tomorrow is day 32. It's a 42-day lockdown. Yeah. Basically 10 days, really, because it's you know, nearly 8 p.m. on, you know, fucking the day 31. So we're nearly there. I know. I'm saying this a lot, and I even made it the description to yesterday's video. We're nearly there. ... We're nearly there. Anyway, see you tomorrow.